It happens in the dead of night. You open your eyes. The clock reads 3:17 a.m. You are awake, looking out into the dark of your bedroom, and you realize you are not alone. You try to lift your hand, but nothing happens. Your muscles refuse to respond. Then a sound breaks the silence. Footsteps, moving closer. You try to scream, but your throat is frozen. And there, standing in the doorway, is a motionless, shadowy figure. Millions of people across the globe claim to have lived through this exact sequence of events. The details repeat across different cultures and continents with disturbing precision. Are all of these witnesses fabricating a story? Are their minds playing a collective trick on them? Or did they actually see someone standing at the foot of their bed? Having the sensory experience of a presence is one thing. The physical reality of a ghost existing in that room is entirely another. The two do not automatically align. To understand what happens to us at 3 in the morning today, we cannot rely solely on what our terrified eyes tell us. We have to look backward and locate the exact moment humanity first started fearing the dead. For tens of thousands of years, early humans treated corpses differently than standard refuse. They developed highly specific, intentional methods for burying their dead. We find bodies carefully oriented towards specific compass points, or laid to rest with valuable objects placed beside them. The dead were given provisions. However, arranging a body in a ritualized way does not prove a society believed in literal wandering ghosts. It only proves they honored their dead. The clay tablets of ancient Mesopotamia provide a different level of clarity. Their texts contain explicit, written rituals designed to pacify the dead so they would not return to torment the living. The ghost is a very old idea. It served as one of the earliest frameworks humans used to navigate a dangerous, unpredictable environment. Later theological traditions, particularly in India, attempted to map the exact sequence of events following that physical transition. Today's popular vocabulary often confuses these concepts. In Indian philosophy, the Atma, or eternal soul, is entirely distinct from a pret or bhut, a spirit trapped in a restless, transitional state. Texts like the Garuda Purana outline these post-death journeys, providing codified rules to help a displaced spirit transition. But modern popular culture collapses this dense theological architecture into a single generic label, the ghost. This desire to maintain a connection with the deceased appears globally, from the vibrant altars of Latin America to ancestral offerings in East Asia. The living devote massive energy to the dead. The names, the clothing, and the rituals change depending on where you look. But the underlying human anxiety about the dead returning remains constant across every border. We can now return to that Dirk bedroom at 3:17 a.m. This time, we are going to look past the shadows in the room and examine the biology inside the witness. On one side, the conscious mind wakes. On the other, the body remains locked in REM sleep paralysis. Visually aware but chemically paralyzed, the panicked brain projects elements from the dream state onto the waking environment, manifesting dark, terrifying figures. The person in that bed is not lying, and they are not hallucinating out of madness. As far as their sensory processing centers are concerned, the experience is entirely real. Science provides a complete, measurable solution for this specific encounter. The monster was real, but it lived entirely within the neural pathways of the brain, not in the shadows of the bedroom. However, proving that one nighttime shadow is a neurological glitch does not clear the board. It does not automatically disprove every unexplained event. People still seek tangible proof, but the methods have shifted. Modern paranormal investigation trades ancient religious rituals for technological instruments to hunt for answers. Watch how this visualization behaves. When faced with a chaotic cloud of random data, our brains aggressively search for familiar patterns. We force structure onto noise, finding a face in the static or a voice in random audio. This is apophenia. An EMF meter spiking or a sudden drop on a thermal camera is simply raw environmental data. Interpreting those numbers as a deceased person is a choice made by the human mind. If we dismiss every single anomaly as a lie, a hoax, or a glitch, We adopt the exact same blind bias as the person who believes every photograph of dust is a spirit. We close the inquiry before looking at all the facts. This bias becomes difficult to maintain when looking at specific physical locations, ruins and abandoned sites where unexplainable phenomena have been documented consistently for decades. Even accounting for the brain's tendency to create order, the persistent frequency of reports in specific locations remains an outlier. When hundreds of witnesses report the same event in the same location over several decades, the question moves from individual psychology to the environment itself. Are we endlessly repeating a millennia-old coping mechanism for our fear of death, or is something waiting in the dark, just outside our instrument's reach?